All right, welcome back to more sorcery, and we just entered this town of friendly folk, and we were just eating the bomba fruit, which was delicious, and we're gonna go into this inn, and the lady at the inn has just asked me, "Are you from the king?" Or not? She's asked. She's demanded. No. I'm a mere traveller. The woman narrows her eyes at you. This is a guest house, the best in Cristotani. Only guests stay. And any guest of mine knows it cost me 3 gold pieces to host a man overnight, and 2 to feed him. But it's all between friends. I'll take a room. The woman shows you the way upstairs to a room. There are 3 other guests already staying and asleep, so you settle quickly. The bed is not clean, but if it is comfortable, and after a long day and all its narrow escapes, you are grateful beyond the measure for the rest. Oh yes, I am. Your dreams are vivid once again. You are somewhere hot, as if swimming in a pool of lava. The smell of herbs and cumin is thick in your nostrils, and all around you hungry mouths are crying out to be fed. Meanwhile, you are falling endlessly down and down into a deep pit in the ground, and in the distance a deep voice is booming with laughter. The long cruel fingers of one hand are curled around the metal frame of a crown, and with the other he beckons you forward as if into a trap. These are some scary dreams. Alright, let's see. Beyond Cristotani. Did we get any food? Oh my gosh, we need some food. Is there no way we could buy some food? What's this? Is this where I stopped? Are these the trails on the way that I stopped? I really could do with some food. Oh well, let's carry on. You wake early and sit for a moment, and in no great hurry to leave the village. This is now the 3rd day of your journey, and the muscles in your legs are feeling lean and strong from so much walking. You spend a short while enjoying the peace, then unhurriedly collect your possessions and set off along the path. Cristotani is surrounded by several miles of fields, a filthy town set into a bowl of mud. As you follow the path between the lines of sun-baked crops, you come to a fork in the road. The right-hand way leads past a set of outbuildings, while the left heads directly off into deep woodland. Between the buildings, enter the woods. Between the buildings. I'm sick of woods. You glimpse a few people at work by the buildings. There will be precious little company on your journey, so you should take it while you can. Approaching a low wall, you see a blind beggar sheltering in the shade with his hand held outstretched. He hears your approach and clicks his fingers. Alms, would you? For love of Sindler, alms? Ah, the man is a sorry sight. He's skinny and sparsely clothed, and his eyes are painted with a dark dye to indicate his blindness for all to see. Please, sir, I wouldn't ask if I didn't need to. Used to be a jailer, you see. Now I don't, see? Please. Okay. I'm gonna have... This is gonna be a good deed for the day. Good deed for the day. I think in civilization I'll be civilized. In the wilds I can be a bit more of a meanie. You place a coin in his outstretched hand. You are a kind traveller, the beggar says. He feels over the surface of the coin, then bites down and, Why, me, this is a gold piece. You are too generous to a poor sightless beggar. You'll get me killed if anyone knows that I have it. The beggar beams up at you. You look after yourself. Wait, he calls. One moment, please. He begins to scrabble around, feeling all over his body as if looking for holes. Eventually cries, Aha! And pulls out a copper key, which he holds out to you. I'll take that. Thanks. You take the key. Thank you. Years ago I lived in Kharé, he explained. Kharé was my home, and in the Cityport I watched over prisoners in the jail. Beware the red eyes in Kharé, or my fate will befall you, and you'll be here with me, begging for your living. What are the red eyes? Pray you never find out, is his simple reply. Listen to me. Kharé is wary of strangers, but this key will help you if you be captured by red eyes. Trust old me. As a man talks, you step quickly out of the road as an ox cart whips past you, raising dust. It does not stop. Thank him and move on. You follow the path away from the village for half the morning. The walk is easy. It feels as natural as breathing to have the road move between your feet. Hard to believe you've trained for this journey so long now that you're on it. You climb a little, tracing the side of a group of trees until you meet a fork in the road. You could continue straight on and upwards, or turn west a while. Straight on or for the tree? No, I'm not going to any trees. I need food. Maybe there'll be some food here. How are we doing in the grand scheme of things? We are heading this way. Dumpus. That sounds like a welcoming place. No, I'm gonna head this way. I'm gonna keep heading this way. You continue along the path climbing. Your legs feel strong and lean. By the end of this journey, you'll be built like a mountain goat. Ooh, nice. The adventure progresses long and easy. This place you're walking through seems thick with desolation, as if it was long ago abandoned. And then, as if to confirm your thought, you come across two enormous stone pillars, listing slightly either side of the road. They form a gate, but the gate is 3 times the height of a man. Peering closely, you make out the faded remains of carved characters in the old script, L and K. The remnant of a spell of fortune, perhaps, or of binding for those now fallen stones. L and K, hey? L and K. Anything L and K? L and K, L and K, L and K. Nope. I'm just trying to check if this is something that I need to be wary of, because I don't want to get into any more trouble. I really, really don't want to get into it. Nothing appearing so far. Nope. Okay, well, I don't know that one. Let's see what else we can do. Let's see. Go through. Yeah, let's go through. There is nothing for it but to go forwards. That's right. Through the gate. Nothing could possibly go wrong here. You step into the shadow of the enormous gate. The ruins of the walls line the path either side, but these are walls built from blocks the size of ox carts. Centuries ago, this must have been a place for a king 12 feet tall. Now it has been levelled, and the stones stolen for the field walls and foundations of the villages all around. Yeah, that's what they used to do, isn't it? After the castle had been ruined, the villagers nicked them and used them to build stone walls and stuff. That's what they did a lot in my country, in the UK. Okay, investigate these ruins. You take a moment to clamber out over the ruins and off the path until you are surrounded by waist-high grasses. The ground rises and falls sharply around the outlines of houses and buildings. You trace the line of a street, wide enough to run 3 carts abreast, that leads quickly downhill towards a forest. Once this place was rich and plentiful. What happened here to remove every last trace of these colossal people? Something good, I'm guessing. Yeah, let's look inside a house. You stop by the edge of a house. The side wall only stands as high as your knees. Grass nods above it. Looking inside, you can make out the edges of the fireplace, the back wall, and an adjoining area, perhaps a grain store or a bedroom. You take a few moments to search through the long grasses and find nothing until your hand closes on a clay pot near one wall. It is the shape of a wine jug, but about 3 times the usual size. Around the neck is a red stain. Wine, or maybe blood. It's impossible to tell. The base of the pot has been smashed away, perhaps by age, perhaps by someone unhappy with the contents. You leave the pot behind. Follow the street down. You follow the line of the street down the slope of the hill. The further you go from the path, the more overgrown the ruins become, until you can barely make out their outlines at all. After a while, you are not following the street at all, but simply holding to the same line. You approach the edge of a thick woodland. Thick woodland. Thick woodland doesn't seem good. I'm still not close to finding any food. If I go all the way around here, there's another set of gates there. Thick woodland. No. If I go into the thick woodland, I know I'm going to regret it. The path crosses over a low broken wall and then rises sharply uphill through a pass. After a while, you see 2 cave mouths, one to the left of the path and the other to the right. I've got my sword, I've got my spell book, 14 of 14 stamina. Left-hand cave, let's go. We need some stuff. We need to get some stuff and have some fights. The left-hand cave is a little wider at its mouth, but it is also not deep and appears to be empty. Rubble covers the floor along with a few items that suggest someone lived here. A huge broken stool, a net with a wide mesh, and a large human-shaped skull the size of a dog. This place was clearly the home to a giant. Yeah. Yeah, no, this is fine. This is absolutely fine. Oh, it's changed to gorilla. Still, by the look of the skull, it seems the giant is long gone, so it should be safe to look at. I'm sure it's perfectly safe. You pick up the stool. It's made from the lower branches of an ash tree, braced together with joint pins the size of your forearm. And before the stool broke, it could probably have borne the weight of several cattle. But it's broken now and of no use to you, and there's no way you could carry it far. No, leave it here. Look at the skull. Next, you turn your attention to the giant skull. There's no trace of flesh remaining on the bone, and the eye sockets are dull and empty. No one has lived in here for a long time. The top of the skull has been knocked about a bit. There's a crack in the top, and most of the teeth are missing. Ooh. There's a dent at the very top. This giant was probably done in by a mace or a club, or else a falling rock. There are only 2 teeth left in the jaw. Pry the teeth loose. You use the tip of your sword to pry a couple of the giant's teeth free, and you slip them into your pack. I think there was a spell that called for teeth of some kind. Finally, you look at the net. The squares are so large that a rabbit or deer would be able to run straight through, but they're small enough that they could catch an animal of about your size. Of course, you could cut your way out of such a trap in a moment. You roll up the net and put it in your pack. You've seen enough. You turn to leave the cave. Carry on. Or the right cave? No, he may have moved out of the left cave because it wasn't big enough, and he's living in the right-hand cave, so let's just carry on. You crest the rise and continue down the slope on the other side. You pass out through another gigantic gate and into a barren mountainside. Barren mountainsides means nothing could possibly sneak up on me. The path trips and slides down a steep scree slope and then emerges onto a sudden plain, as if the forest had been scooped away by a gigantic hand. A river trickles thinly between short grasses, and by its banks stands a tiny village with food. A tiny village with food and rations. Today has been mercifully short and uneventful. Yeah, you have made excellent progress. With a decent meal and a night's sleep, your next day will start auspiciously. So you begin the gentle climb down into the village. You follow the path down into the village, passing a sign which declares it to be Dumpus. The streets are thin and narrow, and the buildings have been set close together, as if trying to withstand a storm. There is a terrible smell hanging in the air. All in all, it seems an unpleasant place, as denoted by the name. Let's see. Explore the town. Halfway along the track, you come across a couple of merchants' huts. You browse for items worth buying with your 15 gold pieces. Your attention is taken by a finely woven skull cap, a finely crafted sword, and a small bag of provisions. Let's buy the provisions, because you examine the bag of food. There was about enough to last 3 days. 6 gold pieces, the merchant says with a smile. Good for a traveller, I'm sure. I need them. It's a bit steep. I do need them. Examine the skull cap. You pick up the skull cap and turn it over. Stolen from a priest of Dadulay, the merchant declares with pride. A fine piece of work for 4 gold pieces. You can tell from feel of the cloth it has no inherent magic, but it might be useful in spells. Let's try it on. Place it on your head, but you feel nothing. You take it off again. Put it back. Okay, let's examine the sword. Carefully, you lift the longsword from the table and swing it through the air. It cuts with a finely carved edge. A fine piece of work, I'm sure you'll agree. The merchant enthuses. 6 gold pieces. Is it better than the sword I've got? I'm going to stick to the sword I've got. I've not actually got a lot of use out of it, so I'm going to stick. Put it back. That's enough. Is there anything else I can help you with? Let's see. Is there any work? Yeah, it's not the day's not over yet. Is there any work to be had here? The merchant sizes you up. You look like a good worker to me. One of my friends needs some digging doing. I'm sure he would pay you and feed you for it. Digging what? The merchant shifts. Well, does it matter? You'll find out. He stares at you. So? Yes. He looks over his shoulder at the path. I'm going that way now myself. You coming? Okay, let's follow the merchant. This is not suspicious at all. Leads you to a house on the edge of the village and introduces you to the householder, a stout man who is probably incapable of lifting a spade, let alone digging with it. What is it you need doing? Cesspit, the man replies. Out back, needs digging. How much? Well, the man replies, it's pretty urgent. The old one's overflowing. How much money? 3 gold pieces, he replies. I'll get started. Spades out back, he replies with a jerk of his thumb. You walk through the man's house into the back garden. The smell is terrible. The job is not just to dig a new cesspit, but to dig over the old one, and it's going to be several hours' work that'll probably take you a whole night. You collect the spade, which is stuck in the ground by the hole. Can I cast a spell to fill in holes? I did have a brief look around those spells, but I didn't really look at the later ones. The earlier ones, I don't think they'll do any good, will they? Nope. Shield, that's no good. Make me bigger. Doors, weapons, 6 of me. 6 of me. No. Combat, I'm guessing. Telepathy. Goblin's tooth. It was Goblin's teeth, not Giant's teeth. Okay, I don't have a flute. Oh, Giant's teeth. Casting this spell requires the tooth of a giant, and when cast will summon a new giant whom the caster may control. The giant will then disappear when his duty is done. Can I get a giant to dig this for me? Is it worth wasting a giant to dig a toilet? Probably not. A good use of that would be probably classed as a frivolous use of magic. So I probably should not bother with that. Illusion of treasure. Small pebbles. No. Good, are they? Mud. No. I don't need sand anyway. Nose plugs. This spell causes the air to fill with nauseating stench. I think I'm good for nauseating stenches right at the moment. Black face mask. There's sap. Effect of this spell, which is only useful in combat, is to demoralise an opponent. Spell is cast. Any creatures or humans nearby take immediate liking to the caster. Nope. Okay. Ep. Potion of firewater. No, none of this is going to do any good. The giant one might be worth a try. The giant one might be worth a try. All of these require special things, so... No. What's the giant one? Yob. Casting this spell requires the tooth of a giant. Summon a new giant whom the caster may control. The giant will then disappear when his duty is done. Yob. Should we cast a spell? Well, let's see if we can cast this Yob spell first, because we might not get the letters we need anyway. Y-O-B. There's a B. Yob. This day. Let's just do it the old-fashioned way, eh? Let's just get our hands dirty. And start digging. Start digging! You begin digging a new hole and tipping the earth into the old hole. The ground is hard and the smell from the pit is enough to make you gag. After you have been working for an hour or so, the owner of the household brings you out something to eat and pays you 3 gold pieces for your efforts. Eat. It's hard to stomach the food with the smell on your hands and in the yard, but you're so hungry from the work that you wolf down the bread and soup he provides. Then it's back to work again for the remainder of the night. You are just finishing when the sun comes up. So, I could not sleep. But I got 3 gold pieces. Good news and the bad news. Alright.